Hey, Shalom. I like to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kwadash. I like to give double honors to the apostles and elders and CT bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim preaching this word with truth and sincerity around the four corners. You know, like Elder Malcolm will be saying, risking their lives and freedom to do so, now more so than ever. You know, seeing that we are in some perilous times. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners. Peace and salutations to the speckled bird. The Israelites that live amongst the heathen that look like some of those heathen. This is not a black or white thing. This is an Israelite thing. So, you know, the Israelites coming back into the fold, they're going to come looking like the other nations. Like they were scattered to, like it tells you in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. And Shalom to the Akim and the few Aqua, the true believers of the hopeful elect. Just coming back in the spirit and theme of prophecy. And I ain't have no set topic. I was watching videos earlier this morning. I watched a video from the elder bro out in the New York camp, Amawan Gabar. And matter of fact, hold on. Let me see something. Salakia. Yeah, here you go. Food riots are coming. November 1st stamps EBT. Yeah, that's what I wanted to speak on. Because people don't understand how dire and extreme these times that are coming that we're in. We are literally in the midst of the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, you know. And it started with the northern kingdom getting rounded up by ice, and now we have the northern and the ice coming after the southern kingdom as well. You know, just recently I did a video, and a guy, and I mentioned that a guy in Brooklyn, in Manhattan, got hemmed up, and he said he was from Brooklyn, but it didn't matter, you know. He got hemmed up anyway. And basically he how do you put it? This is the time that we're in. Yeah, that's basically what I want to say. This is the time that we're in. You know, you have to be circumspect, keep your head on the swivel, and pray to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that He protect you in these dangerous times, you know. But if you haven't seen it, you know, check out brother's videos on it. You know, you got 2/3 of Israel, mainly the so-called black woman, talking about what she and some of the so-called black men. Because I seen some videos with some so-called black men talking about what they gonna do if the government shutdown affects their EBT. November 1st, you know. I'm talking about how they gonna, you know, they're gonna walk up in a store and steal, and in some cities they've already started stealing. You know, so there's these jakes, they have no wits about them. Like them putting on social media that they're going to steal if the benefits don't come in November 1st, is only incriminating themselves, because now all they're going to do is shut down the stores, like they've been saying that they've been shutting down the stores, and the only people that are going to be allowed in are the workers of those stores, like Walmart and Kroger and just different supermarkets, whichever supermarket is in your respected area. So Jake is something else. Instead of praying to the Heavenly Father and trusting in the Lord like the hopeful elect are going to do, Jake resorts to stealing instead of trying to get a job or something of that nature. It's just a damn shame. Matter of fact, let me get a quick precept on that. Because, food riots is definitely coming. So when you go shopping, you gotta keep your head on the swivel, make sure ain't nobody looking at you and following you to your car so they can run up on you and take your shit. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 30. I'll start at 1. It says, Judah warned against the Egyptian alliance. You see, there's all these people that trusted in the government. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Yeah, you see? Yeah, going to the government for help and asking Donald Trump to let up on the how do you put it? Asking Donald Trump to let up on the pressure he's been putting on Israel. When little do they know that it's only going to get worse from there. Verse 3, it says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Yeah, you see? Our people, they bought into this system. The majority of our people bought into this system of staying here in America. When they don't understand that it's fitting to be destroyed by the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son and the holy angels. This is not our, like it tells you in the book of Micah, the 2nd chapter, this is not our rest. But 2/3 of Jake, they don't see what we see. That's why it tells you in Matthew, the 13th chapter, blessed are your eyes for they see and your ears for they hear. Because no matter how many times you tell to Jake, these Jakes, they don't get it. And above all, they really lack faith in the Heavenly Father. Like Amon Gabar was saying at the camp, he was saying, I believe it was yesterday or even a week before, he was saying that he wants to see how he knows that the Lord is going to come through. Like we know that, but we want to see how the Lord is going to come through. We know because the Lord said that His servants shall eat, and that He's going to protect His chosen. Lord willing, we be part of that number. So we want to see how the Lord is going to do what He does. We're ready to put all our chips in. We already put all our chips in, and bet on Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and we want to see how the Lord's going to provide for us when there's no food, when there's no water. Because we know He could do it. The book of Luke tells you, the 1st chapter, Tells you that nothing is impossible with the Heavenly Father, and we believe that. I believe that. There's nothing impossible, especially the stories that you read in the scriptures. How he fed the prophet, he fed one, I believe it was Elijah. He fed Elijah by a raven. You know, when Yahushua was on the scene, he fed the multitude of the people with 2 fish and 5 loaves, or 5 fish and 2 loaves. I think it was 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. You know, fed a multitude of like 4,000, 5,000. So I believe it. You know, there's nothing impossible with the Heavenly Father. But going back to these Babylonians, that's what they are. They lack faith, you know. And skipping down to verse 12, it says, "Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon." You know, our people trust in this folly of this world. And they trust in Esau, who is the modern day Pharaoh, which is off, because Esau is our natural born enemy, and he's the enemy of the Heavenly Father. And it tells you in Psalms of 139th chapter, you know, King David was saying that the Lord's enemies is his enemies, and he hates them with a perfect hatred. You know, and we feel the same, us of the hopeful elect, and us of the men of the Lord. In verse 13, it says, "Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant." Yeah, you can say that this came suddenly at an instant, because you even got some people that don't even know that the government is going to discontinue benefits in November 1st. You know, you still got people trying to use their EBT cards, and they're being told that by the 1st that the stores are saying that they're not going to accept EBT by November 1st. So certain stores, from the stories I've heard, and you got our people, you know, you got our people basically like oblivious to the information that came out. You know, the people that would be late to their own funerals, so to speak, that take no account of current events, don't keep up with the news. They're just stuck in their own little bubble, in their own little world. And Babylon will do that to you. Have you stuck in your own world, in your own, you know? But anyway, food riots is definitely going to commence. And not only food riots, matter of fact, let me see if I can get that. Not only food riots, people are going to have to cut back on eating, you know. You know. Let me see this. This is Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 10. And you see you see the head, and it says defiled bread. It says, and thy meat which thou shalt eat shall be by weight 20 shekels a day. From time to time shalt thou eat it. And look in the NLT. It says, ration this out to yourself 8 ounces of food for each day, and eat it at set times. It says, then Salakia. It says, thou shalt drink also water by measure, the 6th part of an hin, from time to time shalt thou drink it. It says, then measure out a jar of water for each day and drink it at set times. That's exactly what's coming to America. Because food and water is going to be so expensive that people are going to have to ration out their portions. No more excess drinking, no more excess eating. And America has the most obese people in all the world. And mainly because of the diet. Mainly because of the way the food is prepared and made. Some of this food is not even real food. You got GMOs in it. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 3 verse 1. It says, for behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water. You see, so that's food. That's nourishment. The Lord's going to take away the nourishment away from the people. Why? Because they haven't hearkened and listened to the law, statutes, and commandments and the words of the Heavenly Father through his servants, the prophets. So these people are really about to feel it. Let me get this in the I wanted to get this in the Apocrypha. Leading the food riots. I could start at 14. Read from 14 to 19. It says, woe to the world. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. And it reads, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, meaning, they're not going to regard the authorities, and they're going to do whatever they want. Whatever's in the power of their hand to do, that's what they're going to do. And you see people are already talking like that. Like saying, it's mainly the so-called black woman talking about how she gonna steal for her kids. She gonna get what she usually get and then walk right out the store, and she dares somebody to touch her. She don't even understand that the police don't discriminate. They gonna lay your ass out. You go up against the government. But that entitlement that the Israelite woman feels that she has has come to a head. It's reached its height. She feel like she's not accountable for anything. Not even feeding her own kids. Now, the videos I've seen where the woman said that it's the taxpayer's job to take care. There's one video I seen. This light-skinned lady, light-skinned Israelite woman was like, it is the taxpayer's job to take care of her kids, and that's not true. Your kids belong to the state. That's why you have a birth certificate and a social security card. Your children belong to the state in which you live in. It's the state's responsibility to take care of your kids. Like Apostle Gabar said in his recent video that he made. But these people, they don't understand that Esau you have kids, and Esau basically sets the laws to where they control your children, but you pay the bill. That's slavery all in itself. For real. This is verse 17. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Yeah, with all these food riots that's going to commence, they're going to lock down. They're going to lock down the streets. You're not going to be able to go into certain cities. They're going to be checkpoints. And you can't say that it's far-fetched because the military is already here. The National Guard's already here. Police are already out with riot gear on in certain cities. You know, martial law is definitely coming. Verse 18, here's the points. Verse 18 and 19. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. And you know, the modern day sword is the gun. So people going to be kicking in doors and shooting shots. And I ain't talking about trying to get a woman number neither. Shooting their shots, you know, just for the lack of bread. And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Yeah, you see? These people are going to go buck wild. And why? Because they don't trust in the Heavenly Father. They're carnal, you know? They lack faith. And plus the Lord ultimately has rejected them and given them up to his judgments. Because, you know, like it tells you in the book of Psalms, the 37th chapter, that King David said that he was young and now he is old. So basically his whole life, he hasn't seen the righteous forsaking nor his seed begging bread. So the righteous are going to be taken care of. And I believe that. That's why it's best to serve the Heavenly Father. There's a book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 26. Matter of fact, I'll start at 25. 24. It says, abide still, O my people, and take thy rest, for thy quietness shall come. Nourish thy children, O thou good nurse, establish their feet. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Here's the point. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. You see? So it's written in the scriptures already that the Lord's servants are going to eat when this time of calamity and distress come upon the world. When Jacob's trouble come, it tells you in the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, that Jacob's trouble is going to come, but he shall be saved out of it. The he that is talking about the elect, the hopeful elect. Lord willing, I'll be part of that number, and you whoever's listening. So we ain't really got nothing to worry about, you know. Just continue to serve the Lord. Continue to pray, fast, and try your hardest and best to keep the commandments to the best of your ability. You're not going to keep all of them because it's impossible to do or to keep all of them in this wicked captivity, but you keep the ones that you can keep, you know, like the adultery, the eating of swine's flesh, the idolatry, you know, things of that nature. Love your brother as thyself. And love the Lord. Love the Lord with all thy heart and mind and body and soul. And love your brother as you love yourself. And you'll be all right. So, Lord's will, you was edified. Till next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect.